Um, you can go first if you want to.
Oh yeah, oh yeah, strolling through the midnight glow, the stars above, they steal the show. A little hum, a little sway. This groove gon' take us all the way. Oh, feel that rhythm, let it slide. Ooh, child, take my hand, let's collide. Groove in the moonlight, oh, so slow, so slow. Feel that funk, let it grow, let it grow. Move in the moonlight, take it high. Ooh yeah, under the stars, you and I. Ooh,
Shadows dance where the brass tones meet. The rhythm's warm, like summer heat. Can you feel that low bass hum? Ba-da-da-da. Here it comes.
a horn blast cuts through the night. Everything's gonna be alright. Groove in the moonlight, oh, so slow,
Oh, so slow.
feel that funk,
Let it grow.
let it grow. Groove in the moonlight, take it high, come on, ooh, under the stars, you and I.
And ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, cats and kittens, welcome back to the darkest side of the podcast. And thank you. Podcasts are home for rational crypto news and objectivity, leaving emotion at the door, talking about what we like, why we like it, and where we see it going. We are not offering financial advice. We're telling you what we do, and that is all. We don't slow down. We don't let up. Full speed is our only speed. I'm your host, Scott, pragmatic investor who has won and lost fortunes. Joining me, as always, is the greatest producer of all time, the one, the only, the original, the red-headed Bella. How are you doing today, Bella?
Well, you know what? I'm gonna have to give a toast to Idiot Fish. He hit us with the $1.99 super chat already.
Yay! We don't ever get super chats. Cheers to you, Belle. Cheers to you, Idiot Fish, and I appreciate it. Is that it? Oh, we don't both drink at the same time because then what we have is a condition in broadcasting called dead air. We don't like dead air. So Bella's going to drink to toast to the fish. And when she's done, she's going to say something. And then I will also toast to the fish. So that's where Bella talks.
But yeah, I mean, other than that, yeah, it's been a busy but a good day. We're getting a lot of stuff done. So
Yes, it's
Yeah,
very.
it's pretty constant.
It's been productive. I'll just kind of leave it there. I've rarely, I mean, even the whole time that we've been building out Signia Cloud here, I have not been as excited about it as I am right this moment. And a lot of the interesting things that keep this as we continue to develop and explore and see what other kind of stuff we can do. It seems like the more we focus and dial down and make it better and better and better, the more things that we see, like Signal and all these hacks and breaches and all that other stuff. I'm just like, keep it coming, man. Just keep it coming. And my wardrobe tonight was provided by Irish Jeff. And I told him he he gets like 5 T-shirts free every month or every year, and he sent me a couple of them. It's a company that we worked at together called Vertiv, and I said find the most awkward colors that would look just absolutely awful in a studio. So I got this orange one, and then the red one that he sent me. Bell seems to think it's turquoise, but it's not. It's actually red. Camera doesn't pick it up real well. That's it. I have my cameras tuned into such and such a way that it won't pick up the color red. So yeah, it appears to be turquoise, but this is definitely safety orange. And these are actually kind of fun for anybody who's ever really worked on a job site, a heavy construction site, anything like that. I built data centers, so I'm very familiar with it. We get away with these instead of having to wear like high vis, because you are high vis orange or high vis yellow. With the attire that we're wearing, so it gets over, so you don't have to wear that damn vest and all that other shit. And it's just they're hot, they're sticky, and they're stupid. So yeah, a lot of the clothes from companies that sell shovels, such as Vertiv, they kick these out. By the way, that stock is up from a low of about $22 to about $180, $190 right now. If somebody wants to check that for me, I'd certainly appreciate it. The company is called Vertiv, Vertiv. They are a public company, publicly traded. But if you want to see a rise and how important, how AI and all this other stuff is affecting everything downrange of it, take a look at the companies that sell shovels. And what I mean by that is the people who provide infrastructure for all this stuff. Vertiv is one, Eaton is another one. Take a look at both of those and look at what those stocks have done over the last 2-3 years. They've outperformed crypto by an nth degree. I mean, it is ridiculous. The only thing that is even remotely close to those right now would be gold or silver. And those things are, you're still talking about speculative assets, purely speculative assets. We're not talking about, people who take raw materials and turn them into products and sell them for more than it costs them to make them, the generation of wealth, real wealth. And yeah, all the shovel companies are just killing it. That's Vertiv, Eaton, Cutler Hammer. There's a couple of smaller shops, mom and pop UPS. I don't work. I could work on them, but I'm not as familiar with them. But the big players, the heavy players, the people that are Microsoft's coming to them, and Facebook and Google and Amazon and all that stuff, their stock is just through the roof. I mean, these things are absolutely killing it, and it outperformed crypto by a massive nth over the last 2-3 years. I mean, it's ridiculous. And the fun thing about those stocks is that they don't take 30% dips. That just doesn't happen, because if overnight that stock dipped 30%, you'd have a new CEO by that afternoon. That's how quick that shit happens out there in the real world. It ain't crypto, babe. All right, this is the real world, and in the real world says you're a problem. Action needs to be taken. Confidence needs to be restored. And if you're up there as CEO, COO, whatever, like where Bella and I are, you're gone. All right, you're gone. Pack your bags. You're out. It didn't work. Thank you for blowing up billions of dollars worth of shareholder money, and appreciate it. And just go ahead and go about your business. But the only other thing, and I'm getting into something specific. Me and Bell both have individual monologues tonight. I'm going to be talking about New York going bankrupt, because it's inevitable. It's not if, it's simply when. And I'm going to be talking about that a little bit at length tonight. It's not as exciting and not really the stuff that I want to get into. I like more of the I like more of the politics as a blood sport. I enjoy that a little bit more, but I'm always consciously aware of money and wealth and how it's created and how it's spent. I'm always tuned into that because that's, what makes a society a society. So I always want to pay attention to that. And the only other crypto thing that I might have wanted to talk about is like they were talking about that if crypto doesn't actually build usable applications, decentralized applications that use blockchain technology, and if it just continues to live over here in this speculative bubble, it won't exist in 5 years. And that's the one that I agree with 100%. If we don't start using it, it's all good. People will get bored. All right. They're going to move on. I don't think people quite resonate, and crypto people definitely did not pick up on this, that the attention span of degenerate perp chasers is about 60 to 90 seconds before they'll start chasing the lights and go after something else. So I was going to do a thing on that, but I didn't want to. I just didn't want to. We're pivoting over to more real world stuff that affects us, that affects our app, that affects you. And I just prefer to stay over there than to get on and start yelling into a vacuum about crypto sucks and you need to do this. It's all the shit we were talking about years ago, Bell. But it's just kind of funny that now the top names in crypto are saying it, and but they're presenting it as if this just occurred to us. There's no fucking way you could be that stupid that it just occurred to you, that people would not continue to come in here and just hemorrhage money over to disingenuous development teams and bullshit meme tokens. Surely that had to occur to you somewhere along this path. If it did, great. If it didn't, there you are. Anyway, Bell, I've rambled before we even got to the show. I see that we are really, really packing them in tonight.
That's all right. We got another super chat.
We do. Okay. Thank you. But
Braden hit us with $1.49 super chat,
then
trying to bump himself back up into
sure.
first.
Well, he gets a round of applause too, guys, and we do appreciate it. But you know what? I'm going to have my say. And Bell and I spent years broadcasting to nobody. There were two people in there. Me and her are the only two bodies that were in there. So we spent years doing it, and we will spend years doing it again if that's what it takes. But I want to make sure that what I have to say, I am able to say, and that it's posted, and that it's up everywhere, and nobody can stop me. So that's kind of what we're doing. Anyway, Bell, I got to spin my thing up. So if you got any questions or comments, let's go ahead and get them out of the way before I start yelling.
All right, Political. Who bought some meta before the pop? Not it.
Not it. Dude, it's not that I don't want to make money. Because, duh. I would love to come up there and I would love to come up there and kill that. But, dude, I don't know if you ever worked at Meta, formerly Facebook. I don't know, Jeff, if you actually ever went in there and did some of those things. I don't think Vertiv's not really, really heavy over there in Meta. And most of the UPSs, at least the ones on my side of the world up here, it's all Eaton. It's all the Eaton 93, 95 piece. Those are everywhere. That's their 1200 kilowatt version of it. It's just, it's the same as our S1. So, but I was working for Eaton at the time. So I was just living in those things. You cannot even walk on that site. You cannot get through those little doors unless you have a Facebook account. And I never had a Facebook account until that very moment. So I'm a little bit jaded when it has anything to do with Meta. So no, I didn't buy their stock. I'll just kind of leave it there. Hope that answered the question. Bell, carry on.
All right, next one coming in from Political as well. That boy be bright tonight.
You sent it to me, Dick. I did tell you. I said, dude, make it garish. And again, Jeff, I don't know how much on-site experience you have at the build-outs, at the big data center build-outs. I don't know how much you're up there. But this gets us out of a lot of trouble, man. All right, this really does take care of it. So if you really want to be just a clash of the eyes, wear this and then a high-vis yellow vest over the top of it. Dude, they can see me from orbit. I mean, it's just this glowing orb along there with your hard hat, with the high-vis tape on it and all that other shit that we did out there. Yeah, you would spot me from orbit. And thanks, Jeff. Thanks for sending this thing over to me. I know where this one's going to land when we're all done with it. All right, Belle, one more. Go.
I'm just going to say there, okay, well, I mean, Yellow is also a Halloween color. So, I mean, wear the high vis, safety yellow vest, and you're celebrating Halloween all year round.
Yeah, I don't have any of that stuff anymore. By the way, my last field day, I was out at Phoenix working at the Taiwanese semiconductor manufacturing. You know where TSMC, Jeff. And we were over in the trailers, and that was my very last field day with Vertiv, was over there. So when I left, meaning I'm never ever going to come back, I hung up my hard hat with all of my stickers and all that other stuff on it. I hung up the high vis vest and all of the additional safety stuff that I've had there. I left it in the trailer. I hung it up on the hooks, left it in the trailer in case anybody else ever comes out there and says, well, shit, I don't have a helmet. There you go, man. There's your helmet. So yeah, I don't have any of that anymore, and I'm not going to go out and buy a high vis vest so that I could dress up as Halloween as a tradesman. Wouldn't that be fun, Belle? Huh? Dressing up as a tradesman. All right. So with that, guys, I'm gonna go ahead and get into it. Like I said, I know we're packing them in, but I still consider this content some of the most important and hopefully illuminating content that we ever do. I have to preface this with one little thing before I get into it. If Ronald Reagan and the Iron Lady Margaret Thatcher had ever managed to cross paths and had a love child, that child would have been me. That child would have been me as far as how I feel about things, how I see the world, and so forth. So this feeds perfectly into my very own ideology on all of this. So I hope you guys can indulge me. And Jason, I don't know if you're watching tonight, man. If not, do cut this one. This is an absolute standalone here. But we're going in 3, in 2, in 1. Good evening, folks, and welcome back to the dark side of the podcasts. I'm your host, diving straight into the shadows where the real stories lurk. Now, tonight, we've got a doozy right out of the Big Apple, or should I say the Big Rotten Apple, given the state of things. Mayor Zoran Mamdani, fresh in office here in 2026, just dropped a bombshell. New York is staring down the barrel of a $12 billion budget crisis. That's billion with a B, people. A hole so deep, it makes the 2008 financial meltdown look like a pothole on the FDR Drive. Now, Mamdani's not one to mince words. He's calling it a fiscal crisis at a scale greater than we've seen in decades, comparing it to the Great Depression. And what is his big fix? You guessed it, tax the rich. Right off the bat. But it doesn't stop there. He's amping up pressure on Governor Hochul to jack up rates on corporations as well, floating ideas like a 4 to 6% increase that could push the effective corporate tax rate in NYC to something approximately 11.5%. when you factor in all of the additional layers. And he's throwing in calls to disband parts of the New York Police Department, like specifically the protest unit, because why not add a little chaos to the mix while we're at it? Now, I get it. The city's coffers are running dry. Pandemic hangover, migrant costs, whatever you want to pin it on. Expenses are through the roof. Revenues aren't keeping up. But folks, this tax the rich mantra, it's not a solution. It is a suicide pact for the city's economy. And tonight, I'm here to lay it out very, very plain. This is going to trigger a massive business flight. Capital, that lifeblood of jobs, innovation, and growth, goes where it's treated best. And right now, New York City is looking like the abusive ex that nobody wants to stick around for. Let me paint the picture for you a little bit. Imagine that you're a CEO running a Fortune 500 company headquartered in Manhattan. You've got sky-high office rents, crippling regulations, And now the mayor wants to slap an even heavier tax burden on your profits. That's 11.5% corporate tax. 11.5%. It's not just a number. It's a siren call to pack up and scram. We are talking about companies scrambling for the exits faster than rats off a sinking ship. And don't think this is hyperbole. We've seen it before. Remember the great exodus during the pandemic? Tech firms, finance giants, even everyday businesses fled New York for sunnier, tax-friendlier shores like Florida, Texas, and Tennessee. And we're going to discuss what we see with our own eyes in Tennessee, Bell. We'll get to that. Elon Musk moved Tesla's headquarters to Austin. Goldman Sachs expanded in Dallas. Hedge funds bolted to Miami. But why? Because states like Florida have no state income tax. And Texas keeps corporate rates low. And when I mean low, I mean 0.75% franchise tax. Peanuts compared to the 11.5% that New York City piles on. Now, here's a great truth. You might not want to hear it, but it is what it is. Capital flows to where it's welcomed, not where it's punished. And with Mamdani's plan, we're not just talking about a little nudge. We are talking a full-on shove out the door. And I want you to think about it. New York's already got one of the highest tax burdens in the nation. Combined state and local taxes can hit 15% for top earners. And corporations are already forking over about 8 to 9% effective rates before this hike. Now you bump that to 11.5 and you're in nosebleed territory. Companies aren't charities. They are profit machines. They'll relocate operations. They'll shift headquarters or just plain dissolve New York divisions. Jobs vanish overnight. Think accountants, marketers, engineers, all packing their bags. And who suffers? It ain't the mayor. It's the everyday New Yorker. The barista in Brooklyn, the cab driver in Queens, the teacher in the Bronx. And yeah, Joe, I'm talking about you. Their customers dry up. Their tips shrink. Their schools get even more overcrowded because the tax base simply erodes. This isn't just about businesses. It's about the wealthy individuals as well. Mamdani's eyeing that 2% hike on millionaires. But let's be real, because nobody ever seems to want to discuss it. The ultra-rich have options. Private jets to Palm Beach, second homes in Aspen, or just straight up renouncing New York residency. We've seen it with celebrities and we've seen it with moguls. Rush Limbaugh fled to Florida years ago to escape taxes. More recently, folks like Jeff Bezos have maneuvered their domiciles to low-tax states. When the top 1%, who already pay about 40% of New York's income taxes, when they start bailing, that $12 billion hole, what do you think happens to that? It turns into a $20 billion crater because they never say we should cut spending. They only ever say we should raise taxes. It's a vicious cycle. Tax more, you lose more payers. Tax even more to compensate, lose even more. Rinse and repeat until the city is simply a ghost town. And here's the kicker, guys. This is the classic problem with socialism. Now, I mentioned it before I started, but I'm going to hit it hard here. As the Iron Lady Margaret Thatcher once said, the problem with socialism is that you eventually run out of other people's money. Now, Mamdani's playbook is straight out of the socialist handbook. Redistribute equalize. Soak the successful to fund every pet project under the sun. But guess what? Other people's money has legs, and it's walking right out of New York. We're not talking about fair shares here. We're talking about punitive measures that kill the golden goose. Instead of trimming the fat, like, I don't know, reining in bloated bureaucracy, cutting wasteful spending on underused programs, or God forbid, encouraging growth through incentives. They're doubling down on the same failed ideology. Now, let me give you some real-world parallels to drive this home. I want you to look at California under decades of progressive rule. Tech titans like Oracle and Hewlett-Packard Enterprise fled to Texas. Why? Taxes, regulations, cost of living. San Francisco is now a cautionary tale. Once a booming tech hub, now plagued by business closures, empty offices, and a fleeing middle class. Closer to home for me and Bell, Illinois. It's the same story. Caterpillar, Citadel, Boeing, all jumped ship to friendlier states. And New York? They're already bleeding population. From 2020 to 2025, the state lost over 500,000 residents net. And many of them are high earners. The tax hikes? That's like pouring gasoline on the fire. Now, zoom in on corporations specifically, because I was a corporate whore my entire life. That 11.5% rate that he's floating, it is a killer in a global economy, which you pushed for. Companies can offshore or relocate domestically with ease. Take Amazon. They already nixed their second headquarters in Queens over political pushback. Imagine if taxes spike like this, or Wall Street firms. They're eyeing Charlotte, Nashville, even international spots like London or Singapore, where corporate taxes hover around 17%, but with way more incentives. Scrambling? You bet. Boardrooms across Midtown are already buzzing with contingency plans. How fast can we move to Austin? What's the least penalty on this skyscraper? It's not if, guys. It's when. But you know what? Maybe I don't see it. Maybe I don't understand it. Maybe I'm being too pessimistic. But let's play devil's advocate here for just a second, because you guys know I love to do that. Supporters say the rich can afford it. It's for the greater good. Schools, subways, housing. Sure. In theory. But in practice, those funds get mismanaged, funneled into endless studies, union perks, or pie-in-the-sky initiatives that never deliver. Do you remember de Blasio's Thrive NYC? Do you remember that mental health program? Billions spent with a B. Zero accountability. Mamdani's vision includes disbanding New York Police Department units amid rising crime. Great. Tax businesses more while making the streets less safe. That is a recipe for even faster flight. Now, what we need is the opposite. Make New York a magnet again. Slash red tape. Offer tax credits for staying or expanding. Invest in infrastructure that actually boosts productivity. Woo back the businesses with competitive rates, not punitive ones. Capital wants to be here. The energy, the talent pool, the culture. But not if it's treated like an ATM for every single social experiment. This $12 billion crisis, it isn't inevitable. It's a choice. The mayor is choosing a path of least resistance, or should I say, most resistance from the productive class. If we let it slide, New York risks becoming Detroit 2.0, a once great city hollowed out by bad policies. Businesses will flee, taking jobs and dreams with them. Capital go where it's treated best, to Texas, to Florida, maybe even abroad. And when the well runs dry, we'll all be left holding the bag. So New Yorkers, wake up. You better. Call your council members. Hit the streets peacefully, of course. If you want to protest something, that's something to protest. Simply demand better. Don't let socialism's fatal flaw play out on your watch. It's the greatest city in the world. You need to keep it that way. So that's my take from the dark side. I'd love to know what you think. Hit me up on X at DPodcasts. Until next time, stay skeptical, stay free, and we will be right back. All right, Belle, hit it. I got to queue up another song.
All right, so G Torres, boring gold is now exciting.
Isn't that funny how that works, man? As soon as shit goes up, man, it's like it'll never, ever stop. And we never forget that. So anyway, please carry on, Belle.
All right, now we do have a few things. So G Torres under his Z account hit us with a $2.01 super chat. He was in number one spot for just a moment, but then Braden turned around and hit us with another $2 super chat saying, the king's throne is worth it. I think this is going to be the reason I go bankrupt.
I doubt that that's it. Is that it? No questions, no comments, no concerns on anything else, Belle?
Oh, hang on.
Yeah.
All right. So Political, after reading Braden's comment, goes, okay, if you go bankrupt, just open a Somali daycare.
Lick, lick,
Nice
my
one.
balls. Yeah, say that all the time.
I only got 2 sound effects up here, brother, and I don't want to keep playing the applause. No, I appreciate that, Jeff. You and I have talked at length about this. It's a hell of a lot easier to commit fraud. That's it. It's a hell of a lot easier to commit fraud than to be productive. It's just kind of funny how that works out anymore. All right, one more, Bell, and then I'm going to play a song, and then we will talk about Tennessee.
All right, so G Torres under his 1719 account hit us with a $1.49 super chat.
I didn't know you could do that. Is that why that damn thing? Is that why that thing was going off when I was trying to concentrate? I'd like to point out that I am still a pro and that I can get through this even with distraction. It really doesn't. That thing kept bling bling bling. I don't remember the other one. I like the other announcement we have. There's internet porn. Know you're cheating on it. That's what it's Archer. And we do that when we get a subscriber, but we haven't had a subscriber in so long, a new subscriber, that I forgot that was even in there. So if you're listening to us right now and you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do. And just so I can hear the damn bell go off. But we got a lot more to get to tonight. And I appreciate you indulging me. It's this thing right here, and we're talking about the philosophy, governing philosophy. It's clearly a passion for me. I don't know if you can tell. I'm sure you could probably figure out. It's a very, very passionate subject for me. I'm a libertarian at heart, but I am a constitutional conservative. I am more than happy to follow the laws as they were written, not as they're interpreted. And I just consider the Constitution pretty fucking clear on that. So, but I am glad I live in America so that when New York pulls, sticks their head completely up their own ass like they're doing right now, that there's somewhere else to go. And Bella and I have been to Tennessee twice last year for business conferences. And you can't even drive in that state anymore. There are so many humans, so many businesses, so much construction. This place is exploding. Absolutely exploding. We'll even send you some pictures next time. It's unreal because people are leaving New York. They're leaving Seattle, they're leaving Oregon, they're leaving California, and they are coming to the south and the way south, down in Texas, over in Florida. But all of it's exploding. Georgia's booming. Tennessee is absolutely booming. For God's sakes, even Des Moines is starting to boom because when the edges start to die on any organism, this is universal throughout biology. But when the organism as a whole starts to die, it's always the outer portion that goes first, and all the healthy stuff runs to the middle in an effort to save itself. This has been universally true as long as people have breathed oxygen. And you're seeing it here. The coasts are collapsing, but the middle is getting flush. So welcome to it. Anyway, we'll be back. Belle's got a whole big piece she's going to get to. We do want to get your questions, but we're having a Motown night, so I hope you can indulge me. Here is another special one coming to you here on the KPOD label. I remember the name of it, but I hope you like Motown. We'll be right back here on the podcast on the KPOD network, guys.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Woo! Ladies and gentlemen, we got something real funky for you tonight. Let's take it slow, but keep it heavy. Clap your hands, clap your hands. Woo! Woo! I saw you standing in the corner light. Your eyes were dancing, making the night feel right. Woo! A step, a sway, oh, you stole my sight. Caught in the groove, no way to fight. Ooh, I'm slipping into your shadow. Ooh, I'm tripping, can't let go. No, love in the shadow. It's sneaking on through like a thief in the night. Whoa, love in the shadows. Ooh, yeah, come on. Feeling so wrong, but it's all so right. The brass hit hard like a heartbeat pound. Every move you make makes my world spin round. Sweat drips slow and the groove stays tight. This kind of love only comes at night. Stop. Do you feel it? Feel it. Do you want it? Want it? Brass blowing heavy, keeping it steady. Oh, don't you flaunt it? Stop. Hear that rhythm, hear that sound. Love in the shadows, it's where we're bound. Hey, love in the shadows, love in the shadows. It's sneaking on through like a thief in the night. Whoa, love in the shadows. Ooh, yeah, come on. Feeling so wrong, but it's oh so right. Oh, love in the shadows. Oh, it's sneaking on through like a thief in the night. Whoa, love in the shadows. Ooh, yeah, come on. Feeling so wrong, but it's oh so right.
And ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, cats and kittens, welcome back to the darkest side of the podcast. And thank you. All right, Belle, I'm going to ask, do you want to do your monologue or do you want to let me philosophize? I'm more than happy to go either way right now, considering the part that I just read, and I'm sure we got more questions. But if you want to do yours, you got it queued up and ready?
I do have it queued up and ready, actually. And you know what? A lot of times people say I don't talk enough on the streams anyway. So let's go ahead and rock this.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, cats and kittens of the podcast, I turn it over to the producer with, there's nothing rhymes with producer. You know, like Elvira, the host, hostess with the mostess, that worked really, really well. But I can't do that with Bella with the balls. How about that? I turn it over to the show's producer, Bella with the balls. She's going to be talking to you guys for a few minutes. I'm going to sit here and drink, look at comments. Please enjoy. Scott will be back. Take it away.
All right, guys. So we're not staying in the U.S. for this one. We're crossing the Atlantic and going to Spain, a country that's just made a move that's got the left cheering and the right sounding alarm bells louder than ever. The socialist-led government under Prime Minister Pedro Sanchez has approved a decree to grant legal status to around 500,000 undocumented migrants. That's right. 500,000 people, mostly from Latin America and Africa, who've been living irregularly in Spain, and they are going to get resident permits, work rights in any sector, and a fast track to integration. Applications for this are open in April and will run through June of 2026. To qualify, prove that you've been there at least 5 months by the end of 2025, have no criminal record, and boom, legal status for up to a year, renewable, with paths to citizenship down the line. The government is spinning this as a win for human rights, economic growth, and fighting institutional racism that supposedly fuels exploitation and hatred. Migration Minister Elma Saiz called it a reinforcement of a model based on integration, coexistence, and compatibility with a booming economy. And let's be fair, Spain's economy has been outperforming much of Europe, with unemployment dipping below 10%, massive job creation in tourism, agriculture, hospitality, and care sectors, and migrants filling a huge chunk of those roles. Economists point out that immigration has driven over 20% recent GDP growth per capita. The left, including far left Podemos, frames it as dismantling exploitation, giving workers rights so companies get legal certainty too. They even tie it to defeating the far right, a direct jab at Vox, the threats and great replacement fears. But come on, folks. Let's cut through the feel-good rhetoric. This isn't just compassionate policy. It's a blatant political calculation dressed up as virtue. The headline says it all. To defeat the far right. They're openly admitting this mass regularization is a weapon in the culture war. Legalize 500,000 potential future voters, integrate them quickly, and watch the electoral map shift leftward while Vox screams about invasion. It's classic identity politics. Flood the zone with new arrivals, regularize them en masse, and count on the gratitude at the ballot box. Meanwhile, the Spanish people, already dealing with an aging population, a strained welfare state, and housing pressures, get told that this is all for their own good. look at the timing. Europe is tightening borders everywhere else. The UK, Denmark, Germany, Austria, all cracking down on asylum, pushing deportations, building walls. Even Italy's Giorgia Meloni, the so-called far-right firebrand, is issuing hundreds of thousands of work visas because she knows the labor reality. But Spain? They're bucking the trend hard, going the opposite direction. Why? Because Sanchez's coalition is shaky, propped up by far-left parties like Podemos, who've been pushing this regularization, campaign for years, backed by 700,000 signatures and hundreds of NGOs. This decree bypasses Parliament, where the government lacks a majority, and rams it through by royal decree. Sneaky? Yeah, you bet. Democratic? Debatable. Now, the economic argument sounds really nice on paper. Migrants fill jobs Spaniards won't take, boost growth, and they pay into pensions for an aging population. Sure, in the short term, that holds water. But what about the long term? Spain's population is already pushing about 50 million, with over 7 million foreigners. Adding another 500,000 to the legal rolls overnight, that's not integration, that's strain. Housing shortages in cities like Barcelona and Madrid are already acute. Public services, schools, hospitals, welfare, they're already stretched thin. And while the government brags about jobs created, many of them are low-wage, seasonal gigs in tourism and agriculture that don't build lasting wealth. The underground economy shrinks, great. But does it really lift anyone up? I mean, or does it just create a larger underclass dependent on state support? And here's the real dark side. This move rewards illegal entry. It sends a signal across the Mediterranean and Latin America. Come here regularly, hunker down for a few months, and you're going to get a huge reward for it as long as you wait for the amnesty. Pull factor? It's massive. We've seen this cycle before. Spain's done 8 major regularizations since the 1980s, legalizing over 1 million people under both left and right governments. Each time, the undocumented numbers swell again. Funkus think tank says undocumented migrants jumped from about 100,000 in 2017 to over 800,000 by 2025. Now we're adding another 500,000 to the legal side? But what stops the next wave? Nothing. It's like mopping the floor during a flood. The opposition is furious. The Conservative People's Party calls it a distraction tactic. Maybe from that recent deadly train crash, and warns it'll overwhelm services and encourage more illegal migration. Vox? They're going nuclear, calling it an invasion accelerated by a government that hates Spaniards, vowing Supreme Court challenges, talking re-immigration. Harsh? Sure. But when your leaders openly say this is to defeat the far right, You can't pretend it's not political warfare. Folks, this is bigger than Spain. It's a preview of the West migration dilemma. Open borders sound humane until the bill comes due. Cultural clashes, resource strain, rising population. Spain's betting on growth and votes to offset it. But if Vox keeps rising, if crime stats tick up in migrant heavy areas, if locals feel displaced, that backlash could be ferocious. And in a Europe that's already fracturing, moves like this don't unify, they polarize. So, what's the lesson from the dark side? Compassion without control is chaos. Economies do need workers, but nations need borders. When governments use migration as a political tool to kneecap their opponents, everyone loses. The migrants exploited along the way, the citizens feeling overrun, and the social fabric that holds it all together. I mean, that's my take. Spain's really rolling the dice on 500,000 souls to score points against the right. Time will tell if it's genius or suicide. What do you think, listeners? Sound off on X and tag Scott at D Podcast or me at Bella the Prod while you're at it. And as always, stay skeptical and stay awake.
Yeah, and I really hope you do. I'm gonna reference. I'm taking the screen here for a second, Belle. I want to pivot off the point that you just made. That was excellent, by the way. And if Belle's going to be doing this regularly now. All right, just so you know, if you're wondering, look, we both have different opinions, but we have a very, very similar philosophy when it comes to governance. And this is you don't need time to tell how this is going to work out. You know how it's going to work out. Look, I referenced Milton Friedman last night. I'm going to do it again because he's absolutely dead on. And it wasn't even Friedman that came up with this. It goes much further back than that. But you cannot have an open border and a welfare state. You simply can. The two cannot coexist without destruction at the end of it. It just is what it is. And whether it be Spain, whether it be New York, whether it be U.S., the U.S., whether it be the European Union, it doesn't matter. It always ends the same way. When you promise things, when the government promises things, and by the way, this is the same kind of government that doesn't live the way that you live, that is not out there. Every single time I go to any kind of political event, and Belle will tell you flat out that I go to all of them that come anywhere near Iowa, and there's an open mic, I always jump up there and I always ask the same question of my elected whomever it happens to be speaking that day, and I ask them flat out, how much is a gallon of gas today? Now, if I ask the audience, and I'm asking you guys, type into chat right now, how much is a gallon of gas today? Because every single time that I ask that question at any political event that I attend, I never get an answer. I get a big speech afterwards. Well, gas prices are very important to me, and yeah. But they can't fucking tell me how much a gallon of gas costs. Right this very moment, I can drive out of my driveway. I can go to the gas station, and I will pay $2.66 a gallon for super unleaded with ethanol. I have no issue with ethanol. I'm not getting into it, but I have zero issue with ethanol. It makes my gas about 50 cents a gallon cheaper. Sure, let's put ethanol in there. I'll fix a truck at 200,000 miles. I'm not worried about it right now. But I can never get an answer out of this. Out of my elected leaders, the people who go on and on and on and tell you how much they care about your plight, your suffering, your cost of living, and yeah. But they can't tell me how much a gallon of milk is. They can't tell me how much a dozen eggs cost, and they cannot tell me what a gallon of gas costs. that means they're out of the pricing scheme. They are not even aware of what it costs now. So anything that they say after that moment, I completely dismiss as pure politicization. That's all it is. They have no fucking idea how much a gallon of gas costs. There's a reason that people like me should never, ever be given a microphone at that point, because I'm going to ask questions. But I want you to think about this for a second, and let's take New York. I can go on and on about Spain. I have no problem. I have been to Spain many times. It used to be a beautiful place. It's not quite what it is. The same way that I was in France 30 years ago, and I had a wonderful time in Paris. Now I won't even go. I don't care. The trip is free. Great. It's still not worth it to me, because it is fucking dangerous with all their no-go zones, all of the immigration that came in there, the police losing control of fucking everything. The only people who have any stones in that entire country are the goddamn farmers, because every time they clamp down on the farmers, these guys roll this big, heavy farming machinery in Bell and dump 10,000 pounds of manure on streets and just drive away and say, go ahead, you deal with it, man. We don't give a shit. Look, getting back to my point, when you promise something for nothing, I want you to think about this real hard. What class of citizen are you going to be attracting? Now, it's a little bit different in the EU because they do have borders between these countries. They kind of have borders. But in the United States of America, even though we have states, these borders can be crossed without ID. You can just go from one state to another. You don't even have to ask permission. You don't need a passport. You can just go. But when you promise a whole lot of things, a whole lot of benefits for absolutely nothing, what class of people do you think that you're going to be attracting to your new Mecca? And also think about the people who have been here the whole damn time that are paying the freight for all this. Their streets are more dangerous, their dollar doesn't go as far, and they get taxed more to offset what you're giving non-productive citizens that just moved to your goddamn state. So let me ask you, over time, how long do you think the producers, and that is everybody, how long do you think the producers, these are the people who pay more in taxes than they receive in benefits, how long do you think that they're going to stick around? I give you Detroit, ladies and gentlemen, 45 years of pure Democratic rule. How many of you are eager to move to Detroit? How many of you cannot wait to get there? The best idea that me and Bell came up with was to buy a couple of MRAPs and host tours through the outskirts of Detroit, because you're going to need MRAPs. You're going to need something that's up armored, and just drive through there and show them the results of failed policies and something for nothing and the type of people that it attracts. As soon as people find out that it's easier to not work than to work, they're not going to. This is simple, very, very simple. But it seems like we go out of our way to try to confuse the situation, try to confuse everything, and try to talk our way around it. The fact that the governing class is squeezing the middle class to appease the freeloaders. This is what's happening. I'm going to say it one more time because I don't want to be taken out of context. I want to make sure that if I'm quoted, it's precise. That the governing class is squeezing the middle class to appease the freeloader class. That's what's happening. And now that you got Mamdani over there in New York, that is exactly what he is doing. It is January. What is today, Bell? The 27th, 28th? 28th. It took all of 28 days before the true colors showed up. So, yes, for what it's worth, in my humble opinion, yes, you should promise them more. Give them cash. Fuck it. Doesn't matter, right? It's not even real. Give them money. Give them every possible thing you can to make sure that they don't work and that they vote for you. Because in 10 years' time, I want to go and see the wreckage of this once great city, because we've seen it before and we're going to see it again over and over and over. That works out great for me in Iowa. My home value is through the goddamn roof because supply and demand is a reality. And with everybody moving to Iowa, to Missouri, to Tennessee, to Georgia, all the way down the corridor. With everybody moving there and housing not able to keep up, it means I'm worth more tomorrow than I was today, just due to the nature of me being early. But everything on the outskirts is simply going to die. You give it enough time. And as soon as there's nobody left to squeeze, what are you going to do then? Because that seems to be the question that never gets asked and certainly never gets answered. That was my response to your read, Bell, in Spain. That was excellent, by the way. Do we have any questions, comments, concerns, or observations, or do we run everybody off?
Oh, we haven't run everybody off.
Okay.
I will add one more point about the issue in Spain. Okay, I did say it during the write-up I did. Okay, the naturalized Spaniard population is aging, which means they are coming up on retirement age. They are having health issues. With all of these unskilled laborers coming in who are also needing health care support, an already taxed Spanish healthcare system. It's different from the NHS that the UK uses, but along similar lines. It is a national service for healthcare.
Yep.
Okay, that service is already taxed. And over the next 5 years, they are going to be completely overwhelmed and people are going to die because they cannot get the timely health care that they need because the system is just overwhelmed.
It will go to pain management. Mark my words. Go ahead and mark down the date, because 5 years from now, all of Europe, all of it is going to go to simply pain management. And what do I mean by pain management, Bell? We drug the ever-loving shit out of them and just hope that they go away. And over time, they absolutely will, because they're not getting appropriate treatment, what they need to actually save their lives. We're just going to dope them up with oxy, whatever the hell that we can prescribe to them, and just let them pass painlessly. That's what it's going to be. That is exactly what's going to happen. It's already there in the UK. It's already there.
Yeah.
You know, they have the
nearly
complete live system bullshit where they judge how much you're actually going to be able to earn for the state based on your age, your skills, and your level of sickness. And then at that point, they determine we'll either operate on you or we will put you into pain management program, which means we drug you until you fucking die.
It's even worse than that, actually. In the UK, a newly diagnosed type 1 diabetic child, and I pay attention to these things because, okay, the UK did some fascinating research toward the purpose of curing type 1. However, the brakes have been put on that program for one. For another, yes, while a child will be admitted through the ER and their blood sugar stabilized, it can take 6 months to get them into a doctor specializing in treating type 1 diabetes.
And when you don't have a functional, and when you do not have a functional pancreas, you don't got 6 months. You don't got 6 months. One little bad day with a blood sugar of about 20, and you never wake up. That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. So I don't know. For all I know, maybe that's the plan, because the ongoing medical costs of treating a type 1 diabetic, especially one that is not yet productive, this sounds sick, but it's true. The ongoing medical costs are greatly outweigh the benefit that that person is going to present to society. So it's simply easier to let them die painlessly. We'll drug the ever-loving shit out of them than it would be to treat them. I know people don't want to hear that, but they like to pretend that this isn't what people are talking about, that this is not what the complete life system is. That is exactly what it is. At my age, even with my skill set, I am too old to recover the costs that medical treatment that it would cost to make me 100% healthy. If I got sick right now at the age of 54, even with my very advanced and experienced skill set in the trades, guys, all right, I bring light to darkened places. That's what I do. But even at that, the benefit to society is underwhelmed. I don't bring enough benefit to society for them to spend the amount of money it would take to fix me. So they will simply put me in the pain management program and I fade away. That's it. I get to go out with a big old smile, stoned off my ass, and there's worse ways to go. I'm a military guy, Bill. I know that there's worse ways to go, but that's kind of what it is. And with all of these, am I allowed to say shithole countries? Can I say that? You know what? Trump said it. If he said, if the president can say it, I'm sure I can get away with it, that are basically exporting all of their excess to every other country that is already remarkably strained by all of the freebies that they give out to everybody. How do you expect this to end positively? How do you expect it to end positively? Let's go Occam's razor here for a second, Bell. Do you think it's more important for them to fill labor positions, or is it more likely that they are simply looking for the vote so that they can maintain their position out of the pricing scheme? Which one of these seems more likely? Which one of these seems more rational? Which one of these seems more logical? Now,
yeah, it's going to wind up being the second one, no doubt about it.
And it will always be. For fuck's sake, it's happening here in the United States of America. It's happening here. What is our real unemployment number? Is it so low, 1 or 2%, that we have to import people to simply keep the lights on? Or is our unemployment level up in the high teens right now, and every single human that comes into this is just more competition for a limited amount of jobs? Which way is it? UPS is laying off 30,000 people this month. Amazon is laying off 35,000 people this month. Our major corporations that employ everybody are laying off 30, 40, and 50,000 people, and they're doing it quarterly. So what are you going to do with all of the additional people that are coming to this country? And do you think this is isolated to the United States? It's not. This is global. That's what you wanted. That's what you wanted, leftists. One world government. That's what you wanted, and that's what you got. So everybody gets to take a big old bite of this shit sandwich. Anyway, Belle, do we have any questions or comments? Or I'm sure I ran people off now.
We do have a few. So Deep House Nation with a couple of them. That proverb about turning the temperature up slowly rings true. Will be the tinfoil hats at Thanksgiving while the majority of masses adjust to their new, sadder reality.
And that's kind of it, man. I mean, yeah, the frog in the pot. And it's true. I've never personally stuck a frog in the pot, but I certainly understand the analogy. And yeah, man, it's true. If you go gentle, if you go very, very gentle, next thing you know, it's illegal for you to do anything, man. Anything. 20 years ago. I'm sorry, who asked that question? Was that Idiot Fish?
No, that was Deep House Nation with that comment.
Yeah, Deep House Nation. He's an older cat, too. He certainly understands. Yeah, man, it wasn't like this 20 years ago. It simply wasn't. And that wasn't that damn long ago. Go back to when I grew up, when you grew up, back in the 80s. This shit wouldn't have flown. It wouldn't even be close to flying. All hell would have broken loose. But if you do it slowly, if you do it incrementally, and if you do it gradually, next thing you know, your reality is Orwellian, and you didn't even see it coming. But you're kind of okay with it because, you know what? Fuck it. The lights are still on. Water still comes out of the spigot, and you can still purchase gasoline. So you just got to do it slow. I mean, it's Cloward and Piven, man. And if you guys need me to do a whole big bit on Cloward and Piven, I'll do it tomorrow. If you've never heard of that, if you've never heard of the Cloward and Piven strategy, please put it into chat. I will dedicate my monologue to that tomorrow. And I think it will open an awful lot of eyes. People don't care. I do. I do very, very passionately. So if you'd like to hear about that, give me a reason to write up the monologue, and I will absolutely do that. Hope that answered the question, Bill. Carry on.
All right, Deep House Nation again. Creature from Jekyll could be required reading, and most will still argue their partisan politics and subconsciously dismiss you.
Absolutely, they will, dude. People don't. Rose-colored glasses, man. It seems to just be the way it is now. And I take it back to the Tytler cycle, brother. And I know you know what the Tytler cycle is, man. Look, you start in bondage. Every nation that's ever existed on this planet, it's metaphorical bondage, but I'm sure you understand where I'm getting at with that. It's not sexual. They start in bondage, you go to a spiritual awakening, and it goes from a spiritual awakening to courage. It goes from courage to liberty. It goes from liberty to plenty. It goes from plenty to apathy, and it goes from apathy right back into bondage. I don't think that there's a more accurate representation of that than what is happening in the EU right now and what is happening in America right now. And I'm not talking South America. I'm talking North America. That's the United States and Canada, because even though our leaders are seem to be at war with each other, deep down, they all wear the same suits. They just swap jackets. But that is the life cycle of a nation. Any society, any nation that's ever existed, that seems to be the life cycle of it. And right now, I used to say that we were hanging on that line between apathy and bondage, but I think we're directly into bondage now. Again, if you don't believe me or if you don't think it's true, try not paying your taxes. See what happens. Just go dig a well on your own property and don't ask for a permit. And you tell me that we're not have tipped deeply into bondage. And it seems like Spain, Italy, France, definitely the UK, and unbelievably Germany have just completely embraced it. They said, fuck it, man. We will give up our citizenry for votes. We're more than happy because we don't have to deal with it. We have bodyguards. We have gated communities. We have security. We have everything we need to make sure that me and mine are well protected, and we really don't care about anybody else. That seems to be kind of the trend going across, and it doesn't really matter if it's here, there. It's all kind of the same. So I hope that answered the question. And again, if you want me to carry on with this, I will. I know it doesn't pack the audiences in, but it is the most truth you will ever hear, because nobody would dare to talk about the stuff that we talk about. Anyway, carry on, Bill.
I'm going to touch on that for a minute. I do agree that we are actually in the dependence phase of the Tytler cycle. I do firmly believe that we are right on the edge of crossing from dependence into bondage. It's not going to be long before, no matter what we do, is controlled by the government in one way, shape, form, or fashion.
Oh, for fuck's sake, Bill.
We already are.
We already are. We
already are for the most part.
Try to buy a mattress without that tag on it. Go ahead.
You can't.
Try to buy a toilet without the stamp on it. You can't.
Again, you can't.
You can't. You need government approval for everything. Absolutely everything. That is beyond dependence. That is bondage. And that's where we're living right now. I'm not changing my mind. Go ahead and carry on, Bill.
But see, the other part of the dependence thing is, okay, how many people are reliant on food stamps that aren't working? How many of them are on Section 8? How many of them are sitting there having more and more kids just because the government gives them a paycheck to do so? That is dependence.
Yes.
You are willingly allowing yourself to be dependent.
Well, it's the cradle to grave society. That's what they crave more than anything else, is exactly that, the cradle to grave society. You're born, you're given a number, you live, they'll pull every single dollar that they possibly can out of you, and then they you hit the complete life system, and then they allow you to die. That's it. But the rules that apply to us do not apply to them. Rules for thee, not for me. And it is what it is. I can bitch, but I can bitch, and clearly I do bitch, but nobody wants to hear my ideas for fixing it, because they won't. Nobody will tolerate it, because we have been institutionalized into believing that this is the only way it can be. Nothing else will work. It is this way or no way. And they don't even understand what rugged individualism is. They don't know. They don't care. They don't want to know. They want American Idol. They want Survivor, and make sure the TV comes on, the lights come on, and water comes out of the tap. It doesn't even look at. It doesn't even have to be good water. It just has to be liquid. And I mean, like I said, look at Flint, Michigan. So it doesn't matter. I'm not going to fix it tonight. Go ahead and carry on, Bill.
All right. So, Political. Scott, I would like to hear your thoughts on the Iran attack from last night. This seems way too staged considering the investigations going on.
Well, I mean, come on, Jeff. Duh. Look, man, I know you're a conspiracy theorist, and you know I am. And the funny part is that 20, 30, 40 years ago, we weren't called conspiracy theorists. We were called the people who can read between the lines. Now we're nutters. Now we're conspiracy theorists. Now we're all, we're put in this little box as just people who can be dismissed just for pointing out the irregularities of these things. I'm not going to get into the whole thing. It's already been a long show. I'll talk about it tomorrow if you bring it up again. But yeah, clearly, look, dude, I know what a goddamn psyop is. I was a cryptologic technician in the United States Navy for 26 years, man. We are the people who did all this shit. I know reality when I see it. So it's still going to come off. I mean, anything I say is still going to be my opinion, but it's opinion from a person who did it, who actually did it and tried sometimes, failed sometimes, succeeded sometimes. But every single time we do it, we learn a little bit more. And makes it easier for the next time. Dude, again, I know you're an Air Force guy, man. I know. You know. So I give you my opinion on this one, man, but this ain't the right show for it, but we will get back to it. Belle, please, carry on.
Yeah, I'm going to touch on that one. Okay. So the person who got arrested for this was arrested for spraying her with an unknown liquid inside a syringe. It doesn't take that long to test liquids to figure out what they are. And there are a lot of them that have certain smells, certain colors. It's not yeah, they would have already figured out what that was. The fact that they are not saying, "Oh, well, yeah, this was urine," or something along those lines means that this was staged. Sorry, but I've been in theater for about 20 years now. I know the tricks used when you're putting on a performance.
It was a performance piece, dude, and sure, we'll break it down. You know what? We'll maybe break it down tomorrow. I don't know. It depends what spins up, what massacre or outrage spins up tomorrow. So I don't know. But please, Belle, carry on.
All right, Fisherman, I'd like to apply to work for your tour company.
How cool would that be, dude? How cool.
Yeah, Urban Ghetto Tours.
Urban Ghetto Tours. That's we had talked about that. Look, man, we got the MRAPs. You're pretty safe. We won't put the 50 cals on top, man. We don't need to do that. You don't need a Ma Deuce up there for, shooting people who are taking pot shots at you with Saturday night specials. You don't have to return fire. But you know goddamn good and well that every time that those buses left the wire, and yes, I'm using a military term here, leaving the wire. That's a safe zone, by the way. Every time they do, those things would be stuffed. They would be filled to the rafters. We could give finger sandwiches. I tried to tell Belle, we give finger sandwiches like, cucumber and brie cheese or whatever the little pinky in the air people eat. We'll give finger sandwiches and juice boxes. It would be a hoot. It would be a hoot. Yes. Urban Ghetto Tours. I forgot the name of it. Okay. Wait,
well, and as the company grew, we would actually have a helicopter that the one job that it would be to drop loaves of bread and bacon bits.
Bacon bits. You want to run off every... I say that was a very specific dig there, Belle. I'm going to go and give you a round of applause for that. All right, carry on, madam, if you please.
All right. So Political was just chiming in saying, okay, well, they released the fact that it was apple cider vinegar that was sprayed out of that syringe. And it's like, okay, yeah, that was freaking theater.
Really? It was not a blister agent. I remember that shit, Jeff. I don't know if you ever had to go through that, man, but I was in the service back in the late 80s, and we had to go through CBR. That's chemical, biological, radiological defense. And part of it was identifying blister agents. That 10 years before I went through, they actually used to dose you with that stuff. You get hit with, they'd apply blister agent to you so you could see what happens. Because if you actually see it, then when you're affected by it, you know what to do. They didn't actually hit me with the blister agent, but I did not miss that window by too much. But yeah, that's one of the things, man, is be able to identify those chemicals and figure out, do I got to put my mask on? That's it. That's CBR defense. And what they said in Fallout is actually very, very true. If you see the mushroom cloud and you hold your thumb up, let me make that call. If you hold your thumb up and your thumb covers the mushroom cloud, then you need to run the other way very, very fast. And if you hold your thumb up and you do not obscure the entire mushroom cloud, then there's no point in running. That's it. It's you lost, man. All right, it didn't work out for you, and that's kind of what we learned back then in the late 80s as far as CBR defense, identifying agents, and do I need to run or not? I think that is funny as hell. Should I run? No, there ain't no point, man. They got you. It's what it is. Anyway, carry on, Bell. We are way over time.
I know. That was actually the last one for the moment, other than G Torres asking for Siggy updates. Okay, so G Torres, I've got some big things that I'm going to be putting out soon. I am not going to be putting them out tonight, though. Please be patient with me. There are a lot of things that we've been working on. Rather than make an individual announcement per change, we're gonna do it all at once and just get you guys up to speed.
Yeah, we're gonna bundle it, bro. All right. I understand. Look, man. What is he always goes by Carlos, but that's not his name. What's his name?
No, that's what you started calling him.
Because that's what showed up. And I looked. I was like, Gito. Oh, Carlos something, or what's his name? I forget his name.
Gilberto.
Gilberto.
I'm butchering that one because that's it. I can't talk now.
No, we're both liquored up, man. I actually got cotton mouth going on right now. That's how much of that good booze I drink. Yeah, brother. Look, man, you've been an ally of us this entire time. You've been an incredibly good tester. I will share with you everything. I promise. We're doing a very, very major kind of upgrade right now, and let us get it finished. And as soon as we do, I'll make sure that you know everything. All right. You ain't got to go to Bell for that. Come to me. I am operations officer, and I'll make sure that you know everything. So, but yeah, it's kind of a big thing, and we kind of have to do it. That's it. I won't elaborate any more than that. Guys, ultimately, I hope you like the new direction of the podcast. This will continue. I like to do it. I like to get my points across, and I like to talk about things that are very, very important to me and that I'm passionate about. It was crypto, but crypto is just a big goddamn perp platform. That's it. We are one of the few teams that actually see what needs to happen. But we are on a very, very lonely island out here. Now, we're going to continue on because we're right. Jackal's going to do well because we're right. All of this is going to work out because we are right and because we have the finances to see it through to the very end. It's painful, man. It's painful. If I told you about how much debt I was in right now for this company right now, it would break your heart. Absolutely break your heart. But some things are necessary. And my team being paid and me going into debt is just part of the process, man. So I'm kind of okay with it. But what we're doing here is very, very important. It's critical. I consider this the most important thing I've ever done in my life, and I will do anything necessary to make sure that we see this to fruition. Until then, we just, suck. I am living. It doesn't matter. Yeah, I'm not going to get into my own shit here. appreciate you guys sticking around. This is the direction that the channel is going to continue to go, and it is for a specific reason, not because of crypto, but we're doing this in spite of crypto. If there was something important to talk about in the crypto world, I would be discussing it. But right now, all I see are people catching up to the things that me and Bell were talking about 3 years ago, and there's only so much you can do on a stream before people just don't care. So I'm going to stick with what I like to talk about, what Bell likes to talk about, and what we're passionate about. So I hope you guys can endure us. I appreciate it. We will get this dialed in. We haven't done politics in a while. We'll get it dialed in. So just give us a little break here. Anyway, I'm going to turn it over to Bella. She's going to talk us up. She's going to take us out. We're going to be back tomorrow. And I promise tomorrow's show will be hotter than tonight's show, because that's our intent, is to make each show more controversial than the last show. We talked about this a lot. And considering the content that we discuss, ooh, Bell, it's going to get ugly here. It's gonna get ugly. So anyway, Bell, if you could please, you know what to do here, ma'am. I had a hoot, guys. We'll see you tomorrow.
All right. Again, ladies and gentlemen, for those of you who joined us this evening, we cannot say thank you guys enough. We do appreciate each and every one of you guys and the comments and questions you send our way. Now, with that being said, we are going to be back on tomorrow night at 6 p.m. Central Standard Time. In between now and then, if you guys have any other comments, questions, or concerns, definitely don't hesitate to reach out to either Scott or myself, Scott@thepodcast.com or Bella@thepodcast.com, and we'll get those answered for you. Again, we can't thank you enough, guys, and we'll see you tomorrow.